All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to Fall 2023 Group Advising. I am very excited to host you for this. Most of you know me, but my name is Hillary and I'm the nursing advisor here. I advise for when you start at school from orientation all the way through the professional major. So I am your person. So I help you register for classes. I help make sure that you're doing well in all of your classes. And also if you have any issues, I am very good at helping you discuss resources and come up with solutions. So I am definitely here for it. On this slide, you'll see a few of my favorite things. I always like to change it up every time I do this, but I am a proud fur mom, which I know you guys on this call know. That's Ruby, Lucy, Brody, and then my kitties. I'm a proud aunt with my nephew, Leo. And for those of you who know I love Drake, I finally saw him this summer. Went to see Drake in Milwaukee, and that was a highlight of my summer for sure. I am in the office Monday through Wednesday, and then I am virtual or at UW-Milwaukee on Thursdays and Fridays. Take a look at the names in this group. These are your people. I, as your advisor, love to promote the fun things. So when you start your clinicals, I always ask for clinical selfies so I can share them because it is exciting. You guys are going to be a cohort. You guys are going to grow within this program together. So that's something that's really exciting, really something that should energize you and get to know your colleagues. It's not a competition. It's a group effort. Nursing school is hard, so you need to start making sure you have good support behind you. I will be out of the office for a good chunk of time coming up next month. I like to share that in group advising, just simply because I will not have any access to my email. I'm finally going on my honeymoon. So for those of you who know, I did get married last February pretty quickly just because of some family things. My father-in-law wanted him to be there. So we are very excited to finally go on our honeymoon, but I will not have access to email. So please feel free to connect with me before then. And a good way to do that is coming to my office hours. So I encourage this. It happens every Wednesday. They will not be next week Wednesday, but I've had them every Wednesday leading up to this. And then additionally, if you can bring your laptop, that would be great, as I can help make sure your classes are correct. I sometimes can't see everything that you can see through your Solar account to help. So just always bring your laptop as good measure. In group advising, we go over some of those housekeeping items, expectations, the program itself, and then at the very end, I do have a professional program student coming into the chat, and she will be able to ask, you'll be able to ask them any questions about the program. So that's a really nice way where you can get some student-to-student contact and hear about their experience and what it's like to get into the program. This slide is very important, and I highly encourage you, if you don't know where I pulled this information from, please, please, please take a photo of it, because something that you may not know is that Parkside has a very long winter. So if you look here, final exams are done on the 15th of December. And then unless you're taking a winter class, I'm not going to see you until January 29th, which is when spring semester starts. So I like to really point that out during this time, because as you're progressing into that nursing program, you should be volunteering, potentially getting your CNA if you want to start getting some of that healthcare experience. But I don't want you to waste this time. I want you to use it. Definitely rest, get some TLC, get a break from that semester, but utilize this time because it is a gift. I also see here, I put some additional deadlines, and I highlighted the last day to drop a course. So I am still getting a few emails asking if I can swap courses for various reasons of either professor or dropping a class and taking it over winter. Long story short, it's going to depend. If you have questions like that, utilize my office hours. But most importantly, we only have one drop deadline left. The last day to change a class is typically that second week of the semester. And right now, if you drop today, or if you wait and drop your class until November 28th, the repercussions are the same. Meaning you're going to get a W on your transcript, which stands for withdraw, and you're also going to have to pay $18 per credit of the class you're dropping. So whether you drop today in October or wait until November to drop, the repercussions are the same. So at this point, I really encourage you to do your best, keep going, but you already paid for the class. So sit in the class, immerse yourself in all that material, because if things do end up going south and we do enact our privilege to drop the course closer to November 28th, you at least are getting as much knowledge to make it easier come your next time you take it. The reason that you would want to consider dropping is if you're failing the course, so getting a C- or lower. If it is one of the pre-nursing courses, that will count as a repeat, and we do not want to have more than 2 repeats. And additionally, if your GPA is on the bridge of eligibility, or you are getting a scholarship and don't want to tarnish your GPA, those are things to consider and discuss with me in our decision making if we should drop a class or not. And when you drop a class, I'm really hoping you talk to me, because we'll have to adjust your plan of study, make sure that there's room to take it, and so on. So please include me in that decision process. Next, we have a student affairs campus site here at UW Parkside. This is a way that I connect with you. Our office manager, Joy, does make an announcement every Friday with different things going on around campus. So we really do our best to condense as much as we can, to, instead of emailing you for every little thing, to 1 email a week. I highly encourage you to join this group. So you would follow this link and then self-enroll in this campus group if you aren't already part of it. And additionally, you would want to see what other volunteer opportunities there are. So I list volunteer opportunities here. I list things that don't necessarily should have an email that's separate. And I also have all of the handouts for the program here as well at your disposal. So this is a very great resource to have as you're going through pre-nursing. Additionally, using your Parkside email is very important. If you order spiritware and it's being delivered to Milwaukee and you want me to bring it down for you, it's much easier for me to know that you're part of the Parkside cohort when you use your Parkside email instead of using, for instance, sexykittens@gmail. I don't know who sexykittens@gmail is. So with that being said, it's important to utilize your Parkside email and make sure you don't forget that S on Rangers, especially come application time, because sometimes that does cause issue when we're trying to email you out and then emails are getting bounced back. So don't forget that it's @Rangers with an S.uwp.edu. And additionally, this is your reminder that your school email gives you a lot of really great discounts. So instead of paying over $100 for Amazon Prime like I have to, you can get it for like around $50 a year with your school email. And Unidays is a great app for you as well, because if you download the app, ensure that your school, I believe they've used like an ID type of database. A lot of different stores have discounts that you can use, whether it's 10%, 5%, it's a savings. We love a savings. And then also check with your health insurance or not your health insurance, your auto insurance, because there's a lot of ways that auto insurances want to be happy with good grades. So they will potentially give you a discount depending on what auto company you utilize your insurance through. Next, this is very good information to know, because I am expecting you to have Teams downloaded to your computer if you're making a virtual appointment with me. We don't really have time to spend 10 minutes with tech issues. So if you're making a virtual meeting, I'm really hoping you have Teams downloaded to your computer so you're ready to go. And then additionally, having your email on your phone is also vital. So whether you use the Apple email little socket app, or if you are actually downloading Outlook as an app to your phone, checking your email on a weekly basis at the very least while you're not in school, and then daily basis while you're in school is the rule of thumb. And then this app should look very familiar to you. This is Navigate. This is how you have access to my whole calendar. You can text me, you can message me through here. If you're really struggling and want to give me an alert to call you my next day I'm in, you can raise your own hand on here, which I will call you. And then if you want a study buddy, that is another feature on this app as well. So it's another great resource to have while you're on campus. I also have had a Facebook for a while, but I made an Instagram new this semester by popular demand. So please make sure to follow me. I post a lot of things on here, reminders as well. Just another way I can connect with you. And then this is a solar screen. On your solar screen, when you click on solar, you're going to have those 4 boxes. Once you click on Student Center, your screen should look something like this. And I need you to make sure my name is listed in the advisor. If it's not, that's kind of a red flag that you may not be declared correctly as a nursing major student. So please make sure my name is there. And additionally, for your enrollment term, registration starts November 13th. That does not mean that you will be able to register exactly on November 13th. It does go by credits. So if you are a senior with maybe 80, 90 credits, they're going to be able to register sooner than a freshman who only has about 15 credits under their belt. Additionally, athletes get to register first. so on and so forth, something called priority registration. So what your specific enrollment date will be listed there. So it could be November 15th, it could be November 20th. It just depends on what your specific credentials are and how the registered office decides when you can enroll. So definitely check out that date there on your solar homepage. So if we were in a group setting, I would definitely take a second and ask, what is a nurse to you? So in the chat, as I'm talking, please feel free to drop in a comment about what a nurse is to you, because a nurse has a lot of things they need to abide by. And something that I'd love to introduce to you while you're in this pre-nursing phase is ensuring that you know and acknowledge the UW-Milwaukee College of Nursing core values. This is vital because these are those values that your application, your interview, as well as your essay are revolving around. We want to ensure that you're embodying these values. So if you are volunteering in a hospital or dog walking for the Humane Society, how are you showing integrity? How are you showcasing collaboration? If you're working as a CNA, how are you showing human dignity? These are things I want you to start thinking about and examples I want you to start brewing up, because if you do this now, it'll be easier come your application. Some of my expectations for you as an advisor is to meet with you at least once a semester. That's going to be vital to make sure that we're on track, following our plan of study, tracking our GPA, and making sure that we know and have an accurate timeline of when you're going to graduate, but also when are you going to apply to that professional major. Attend group advising, which I'm very happy you all are here. And then additionally, having me check over your shopping cart. So when you come to one of our advising meetings, I am hoping and setting you to that expectation that you're going to have all of your classes following your plan of study for that semester in your shopping cart before we meet. Because that way, come our meeting, I can look at that, check it off, and then we can start talking about some other concepts versus spending some time adding classes in. You don't know how? Come to the appointment. I'm happy to show you. But if we've already met a couple times, that this is an expectation that I've passed. I want to make sure you're declared as nursing and that you are familiar with all of the handouts, from the Getting Started Guide, the rubric for the application process, as well as that GER handout that qualifies you to take the specific GERs at Parkside for UW-Milwaukee. And additionally, making sure you know what classes count as your nursing GPA as well as your science GPA and how to calculate that manually. Pre-nursing, I want you to view pre-nursing as if it's training. So people who run marathons, they don't just run 26 miles the next day that they decide to sign up for a marathon. There's a lot of training involved. And so to do that, pre-nursing is kind of your training. You want to make sure that you're learning those core competencies of anatomy and chemistry, as well as math and English, because as you progress, you're going to be expected to know these items. So come professional major, you're going to be expected to know what chemical compound from chemistry and how it's going to affect the liver come professional major. So you're putting anatomy and chemistry together and then using that knowledge to continue your growth. So while you're in pre-nursing, make sure nursing is what you want to do. Job shadow, volunteer, get out there, join a student leadership position, and most importantly, aim for good grades. I love this timeline because I'm very visual as a person, and so I always present as if you all are visual as well. But you should have seen this because I showed this at orientation too. And so you all are currently in that green area where you're in your 1 to 3 years, 3 years if you're on a 5-year plan, 2 years if you're on a 4-year plan, and once in a while, if you've already been in school and come to me as a transfer, you may be on that 1-year type of pre-nursing at Parkside track, but have some other credits from your other institution. But pre-nursing is gearing you up and getting you ready for that professional major. Once you're just about done with your pre-nursing classes, you're going to apply, and that application opens up every November. Then you will have until January 2nd at 5 p.m. to submit that application. That month of January is when I go through and make sure your GPAs are meeting that 2.75 metric. From that 2.75 metric, as long as they check out, you'll be invited for your on-campus essay and your virtual interview. That will happen in February. Then after February, you're not going to hear from us again until March. And in March is when you'll find out if you were accepted to start with us in the professional program for that following fall semester. So there are quite a few steps here, but I do guide you. So in every November, I have an application prep session, which I shared the date later in a little bit in today's presentation. So make sure to save that date if you're applying this year. If you aren't applying this year, but kind of want to get a head start, you're more than welcome to attend that session as well. But then once you get ready to start that professional major, all of your coursework must be completed. So this is where it's vital that if you drop a class or change a class, that you talk to me, because you will not be able to start the professional major if all classes aren't completed and if your 2.75 GPA is not maintained. The last 2 years will be the professional major. It's cohort style, meaning we accept 40 students every year, and you will be finishing out in that cohort. You graduate from UW-Milwaukee, and then you will go ahead and take your NCLEX and become the best RN out there. To kind of dive a little bit more into the professional major, we then start doing clinicals. Clinicals are what learning experience we want to give you, so you're in different sites to kind of learn how to nurse in real life. So some of the clinical sites we put you in are South Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, Union Grove. It's a 45-minute radius to UW Parkside, not your home. And that's something to remember. To make sure that it is a 45-minute radius from campus. Then we are only a full-time program. So with being full-time only, you are going to be expected to be in that full 16 credits, 15, and 15. So there's no part-time option. We admit 40 students each fall, and admission is competitive and not guaranteed. I say that not to scare you, but just so you are aware. Now, let's take a review at this Getting Started guide. This Getting Started guide is very helpful because it does go over everything you need to know about the pre-nursing program. So, to get a C or better in math and English is a university requirement. I do not count it into your nursing GPAs, but I do need you to complete those, not only for the university requirement, but they are prerequisites to get into the next class. So if you don't pass Math 111, I can't get you into Chemistry 115. If you don't pass English 100, I can't get you into English 101, and so on. So that is an important part. All of these classes are required for the professional major, and you need to maintain at least a 2.75 nursing and science GPA, followed by a C or better in all of your pre-nursing coursework. If you earn a C- or lower, that's going to be considered a repeat, and you're only allowed a total of 2 repeats, and you can only repeat each class 1 time. Each and every one of you should have a plan of study, and this is what we update and go over every single time we register for classes. Your plan of study has some very great information on it, so please utilize it. It talks about when we have you set to apply to the program. It gives you a reminder of potentially getting your CNA and volunteering, as well as making sure all of your classes are completed by that certain deadline. I also follow and track your GERs, which are your general education requirements, which help make up a baccalaureate degree. And I also track when you're going to graduate or your anticipated graduation. So this is all very helpful information that I hope you utilize. Then you also have your pre-nursing worksheet. And your pre-nursing worksheet is very helpful as well because it goes over what exactly counts for what. So that first column is going to talk about what nursing classes count as your nursing GPA and then what science classes count as your science GPA. So if you look, all of the classes in the purple box are counting as your nursing GPA. And then we extract those 7 science courses. So they essentially kind of double dip a little bit, but we want to hone in and take a GPA and look at those on their own, mainly because we are a STEM field and we want to make sure you're going to flourish come professional major. My rule of thumb is always aim for a B because of math. This isn't girl math. This is mathematically. So mathematically, if you are getting a B or better in all of your classes, that B is going to be a solid 3.0. So that is the goal. That is not quite competitive GPA because competitive GPA is going to be a 3.3. But if you hit that 3.0 and sprinkle in some A's, you'll be just fine. If you end up getting a C, just know we're going to have to work a little bit harder to balance it out because a C is technically a 2.0, which is less than a 3.0 and 3.3. And really the eligible GPA of a 2.75. So that is something to consider. Additional things that you may see on those worksheets are talking about a plan B or a backup plan if something doesn't follow our plan the way we would like it to, different goals. And I'm definitely one to support different goals that you have in your life. School is part of your life, but I acknowledge that it's not your full life. So I want to hear about some of those personal goals you have going on and celebrate them along with you. One thing I truly love about our application process is that we are holistic, meaning we are not just looking at black and white grades. We're looking at what other things are you doing on your college journey? So what attributes and experiences can you bring to the table and bring to our program? So if you look at the first half, you will see that it's very focused on those academic metrics. So that second half is looking at what else are you doing? So are you working as a CNA? Are you working as a personal caregiver? Are you volunteering within a hospital? Are you dog walking for the Humane Society? These are all things that count and look really good for your application. Remember, we don't have a set number of hours that you need, but we are looking at that consistency factor of, hey, I dog walked bi-weekly for the last year. That's going to look really great on your application because the goal behind this isn't to burn anyone out, but to see how you can balance and juggle various things in your life. This handout is very important as well. This is the general education requirement handout. So when I say take a GERHU, what I'm meaning is you're going to take a humanities class from this box. And when I say take a social science class, you're taking one from this box. And the reason you're using this sheet compared to the UW Parkside 3-column sheet is because these classes are guaranteed to transfer into Milwaukee the way we want them to. And remember, your degree is coming from UWM, so you want to make sure you're using this general education requirement elective list for that purpose. So to give you a little bit of a recap, nursing is competitive, nursing is rigorous, and admission is a guarantee. So I always am encouraging you to think about what your backup plan is. What is our next move? How are we going to flourish in this class? So these are things that we can talk about in our one-on-one meetings. I accept 40 students every year, and I have on average 50 to 60 students applying. Come the fall admission, we only have that here at Parkside. So if you were looking to start in the spring, that would not be here at UWP, that would be more at UW-Milwaukee. And then the application includes an essay, the application, work, volunteer, and leadership experience, and a CNA is not required for our program. But if it is something you are wanting to obtain, it is a great idea to enrich your application. If you are interested in getting your CNA, I really recommend getting it from Gateway Technical College or CLC, even Milwaukee Area Technical College. And something that I've been hearing a lot of is a lot of students are getting jobs as personal care aides or a CNA assistant kind of, and they're giving you on-job training. So that is another opportunity as well. With volunteering, long-term commitments are going to look really good. I have options on our Canvas site, as well as if this is a concern, you can bring it up in our meetings. And then making sure you're involved in campus, because that's going to showcase some leadership, whether that's with SNAP, which is Student Nurses at Parkside, or getting a job on campus. That can really help out as well. Today was SNAP's meeting, so we have 2 meetings left of the semester. It is a great group. They have a professional nurse coming to every meeting to give students a heads up on what the career is like and their perspective on the career. And then additionally, they also do some volunteer efforts as well as a student organization. The Black and Gold Committee is another wonderful committee that we are looking for pre-nursing students to join. With that being said, this is through UW-Milwaukee, and we're looking for Parkside nursing students because you are part of this cohort to also be involved with the decision making of where differential tuition goes. This is a huge application opportunity, and what differential tuition is once you start the professional program, there's an additional fee called differential tuition. And where that tuition is it counts and goes to the Black and Gold Committee, which is the student committee, and they decide how that money gets break down. So once you enter that professional major, they buy your white coat, they buy a couple of your textbooks or help with some of that AI purchase, which is the system you use for NCLEX preparation. So there are a lot of fees associated with nursing school, and this committee helps decide what they are going to help students with and pay for. Some things I recommend are keeping track of what you're doing. So get a notebook, just how you would for any core subject, or at least have like a file doc or something on your computer or on your iPhone, whatever works out best for you, and track every volunteer opportunity you do, whether that's with church, whether that's with campus, a student, or at work. These are all things that you're going to want to track and monitor by the time you apply to the program. It's going to be much easier to have all of that stuff in one spot compared to kind of forgetting what you did a year ago, but you knew you did something. So I can't recommend enough. It's much easier to have this and track it as you go versus thinking about it later. You can definitely tell the applications that have tracked their volunteerism. Next Wednesday is a very exciting day on campus. I have sent out various emails regarding this, and it's called Healthcare Career Day. The first 50 nursing students who sign up will get a goodie bag. And in that goodie bag will have some snacks, some additional information. But this is a really great event. There's going to be over 30 healthcare vendors there, or recruiters, I should say. And these recruiters are looking for CNAs, they're looking for personal caregivers, they're looking for nurses. So what you should do, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, is start scoping out these opportunities. If you're a little lower and not a junior or senior, start asking what looks good on an application for a nursing internship once you become part of that level, because you can start working on some of those things now. This is a great event and I can't recommend it enough. If you need extra help, the park is helpful, as well as a lot of the science courses have supplemental instruction or open lab. Please attend those if you're struggling. By now, most of you have taken your first exam for some of those science courses. If you're doing great and you're studying right, perfect. But if you've got a little bit of a poorer score, I want you to look at how you're studying, because there are a lot of different ways to study. I've heard from students that writing your notes down and really not relying on, printing the PowerPoints and just, scribbling it down, but rewriting notes is huge. So there's a lot of different things that the park can help with, as well as your success coach if you're a freshman. Utilize your success coach. Something that I was appalled by was students didn't know that you have a free therapy sessions here on campus through the Student Health and Counseling Center. So as college can be very overwhelming, or if you're going through something tough with family or in a relationship, please utilize that Student Health and Counseling Center. You pay for it through your segregated fees, so there's no cost for you to attend it now. Utilize your free therapy sessions. I will email you more about scholarships when Parkside opens up their scholarship application, but I also post scholarships on the Canvas site, my Facebook. Things that cross my desk will be announced in the announcements as well. So definitely keep an eye out for those. It is scholarship season. Scholarships happen a year in advance. So with that being said, be mindful, because my favorite email is come August when people are asking for scholarships for that academic year. They simply don't work that way. It is a year in advance. So please consider that. Professor office hours are very important as well. So your professor wants to help you succeed. So if you are struggling, do not be afraid to reach out to them. You reaching out to them is going to show them that you care and that you want to pass their course and that you're taking it seriously. So be mindful of any holds on your account. If you have any of those registration holds, please feel free to clear those out before our meeting. Add your classes to our shopping cart. Email me if you have any questions before our meeting. And just know, if we do have a virtual meeting, have Teams downloaded to your computer, and I'll send you the link right before our meeting is set to begin. Our application prep session is November 1st at noon. I will send out more information about this. This is more of a save the date. So if you are getting ready to apply this year, please definitely attend this prep session. And now I'm very excited to welcome Bella, our student analyst. Hey, Bella.
Mic's off. Hello.
Hi. So I am going to turn off my computer, mute myself, and walk away for about 5 to 10 minutes. And Bella's going to be able to answer any questions you have. This is a peer-to-peer experience, so ask her anything about the application process, ask her anything about really anything. And I'm also going to stop recording. So this part doesn't get recorded.